Well, hello, everybody. Welcome in once again to another edition of Inside the Lion's Den. As always, I'm Mike Glennon, and today we're joined by a special individual, and that is, of course, our Paralympic qualifier, Hannah Aspden. And Hannah, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a very busy time for you as you get ready to head off to the Paralympics coming up at the end of next month. But like I say, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to talking to you.
Well, first off, congratulations. I know this is, I guess, becoming routine for you because you did it last time around when they were in Rio. And then, of course, doing it again here. You ended up going down to Rio, came away with 2 bronze medals. And, let me ask you this. Let's start with kind of, what is that feeling like when you get into the pool and it's time for you to go out there and try to qualify? What is going through your mind and what does that feel like?
It's overwhelming sometimes. This time around, I definitely felt better about it and more confident going into it. When you're, 16 going to trials and after, a year of craziness and everything, it can be a lot to deal with. But luckily, now that I've been to a games, I'm really enjoying being kind of on the other side of it, on like our veteran side, and getting to just be there for our younger athletes and our newer athletes coming up who this is their first trials, their first games.
Awesome.
But yeah, when you're getting in the water and you're fighting for a spot on the U.S. team to represent our country, I mean, it's thrilling, it's fun, it's exciting.
Sure.
It can make you kind of nervous, but at the same time, like that is what you put in all the work for. That's what you train for. And you get up on those blocks, and you also just have to remember that you're not doing it alone. It took a lot of people to help you get there.
Sure.
And so just being grateful for all of that too, and really just grateful for the opportunity, whether you make the team or not, or whether you swim best times or not. Just like you said, there's a lot of people that don't get to experience that. So
Sure.
just being grateful to be there and just soak it all in.
Well, it's amazing how much training and practice goes into 30 seconds to 2.5 minutes in the pool. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a lot going in there for just that short amount of time. But obviously, something that you've done very well as you continue to train. And I know you just mentioned the folks that supported you to get to that point. Now, you're a Raleigh, North Carolina native. You're born without your left leg. I mean, let me ask you this: what got you into swimming to begin with, and how did that journey start?
When I was really young, I have an older brother who's a couple of years older than me. So I saw him going off the diving board and I thought that looked really fun. So I wanted to
Sure.
try that. So that's my first kind of experience with water. And then I started swim lessons when I was 4 and swam on a summer team, which is always so much fun, when you're a kid, those summer
Sure.
league meets. And then I joined Yoda, which is a club team here when I was 8 and swam for
Okay.
them for all the way through high school and everything.
Gotcha.
I did try soccer, because the rest
All
of my
right.
family did soccer, which I also thought was really fun, but I really just found my home in the water. And it's also one of those things where it's a place where what you have or what you don't have doesn't really matter. I
Mm.
mean, to some extent it does, but at the same time, it's a place where I get to just work with what I have and do what I can and just kind of do the training like everybody else. And it's very freeing in a way to just kind of hop in and just do what you can do, and not feel like there's anything that you're like falling behind in or things like that, because obviously soccer had a lot of running, and I can
Sure.
run okay on my crutches, but it was definitely a different kind of sport than I found my home in the water with swimming.
Well, I'd say you definitely found your home on the water again. We just mentioned your second time you're going to the Paralympic Games. This time around, finishing first in the 100-meter backstroke, 100-meter free, and 50-meter free. Also finishing up second in that 200 individual medley. I guess whatever the training you've done has definitely spoken true to you. And you mentioned your family a little bit. What kind of support do you feel from your family when you go through not just this, but anytime you're in the pool, your entire kind of upbringing? What kind of support have you got from your family?
Oh, they are the whole reason that I am where I am here today.
Sure.
I have an older brother, a younger sister, and my parents, and even beyond that, my grandparents, my
Mm.
uncles, aunts, everyone's always been so supportive and so encouraging.
Sure.
And it's really nice to like have older and younger siblings, and
Hmm.
having people to push you and to work with you and to be around you, and we all really just challenge and encourage each other, and to chase after all of our goals.
Sure.
But my family is the most important thing to me, and I definitely wouldn't be where I am without them. So I'm very very thankful that I've had that rock to always hold on to.
Well, it's, it always starts at home in terms of that strong family support. And then, of course, you have your Queens family as well. Can you talk a little bit about kind of what your coaches here at Queens and your teammates as well, what they've meant to you and how they've helped shape you as a swimmer and how they've gotten you to get better day in and day out?
Yeah, no, the Queens team also has been very supportive. The whole Queens community, really. We have an amazing coaching staff. Everyone's very encouraging of each other. Something I think Queens does a really great job of is recognizing that every individual has a different path and a different journey,
Sure.
and being able to tailor things to that individual person and what their goals might be.
Okay.
And I think just as far as team cohesion goes, they've always done a really good job of bringing everybody together. Even when we have tons of internationals coming in and people from different places and backgrounds, we really, the Queens team and Queens community does a great job of just bringing everybody together
Sure.
under the common goal and under working for something that's bigger than yourself, something for the team, for the school, and just promoting everything that Queens stands for.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, I can tell you one thing, Coach Dugdale will definitely love to hear that. That is for certain. You're looking back on the 2020 Paralympic swimming trials. Of course, everybody thought you were going to be doing this a year ago, but of course, COVID had its other plans. But you came in first in all three of the same events last year, and then back in 2018, following up your summer in Rio in 2016 at the Pan Pacific Paraswimming, you took silver as a part of that 4x100 meter relay team. What does it feel like to be on that podium in such a huge stage each and every time? I mean, that is something that there are a lot of individuals in this world that will never understand that feeling. Can you give us a little insight on that?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's definitely something to be grateful for. It's something that not a lot of people get to experience, and it definitely is an experience. It's something that you'll never forget. Every single time. It doesn't matter how big or how small the meet is. That's still an accomplishment to celebrate. And just being up on the podium and knowing where all of that work has gone and what that's led up to, that accomplishment, that moment, is what you put in all of this work for and what you
Sure.
train for every day. And again, what your support systems have been pushing you towards and encouraging you to go after, all kind of leads up to that one moment. And so it's definitely a very emotional moment. It's a very exciting moment, just knowing that you've had the chance to represent your country and represent your family and your team and everyone back home, and just represent what you can do, is a really great feeling. And at some meets, getting to see the American flag raised is also just like a goosebumps kind of moment, getting to see that, and knowing that you've helped your team along, and especially in Paralympics, always just being able to show people what we
Sure.
can do with what we have. And just being able to celebrate that is also amazing. So.
Well, and I have to say that hearing you say that in terms of just, every individual has their own story. And you obviously have your own, just as many of your teammates do. And it's one of those things that, no matter what that is, you guys just go out, compete, train, and just do everything to the hardest and most of your abilities. And I mean, look where it gets you, standing on a podium with a whole lot of hardware to bring home with you at the end. So that's something special, I'm sure, to behold. You mentioned kind of, the idea of swimming for your country. What kind of pride does that instill in you as a human being, to understand? Even like you said, you were 16 the first time around, and maybe you didn't fully grasp it until after the fact, but what kind of pride does that instill in you?
Oh, so much. I mean, I consider myself a patriotic person.
Sure.
But it's always an honor to get to represent your country, because that's something that, not a lot of individuals get to do, but it's really an amazing feeling knowing that you have so many people have your back and so many people are
Yep.
there, have been on that journey with you. And also, especially when we go, when we wear the gear and we're all one team coming from all different backgrounds and places, and just that unity it's something that I really cherish. Or when you're traveling around the world and you just get to, wear
Sure.
the flag on the back of your jacket or on the side of your cap. Those things, even those little things are things that have always meant a lot to me. Like when I first got my flag cap with my last name on it, that was a huge moment and a huge accomplishment, that I was really proud of and really excited for. But just being able to go and travel the world and represent the United States and everything that we stand for, and trying to represent well and represent our people and our families and our homes, is definitely an opportunity that I'm honor to get to continue to do, hopefully. So.
Well, that is very well said, to say the very least. And, you know, can you take us through, and obviously, you know, I understand the fact that you train hard every day and all that kind of stuff, but now that you're looking ahead towards the games coming up at the end of August, you know, what does your training schedule look like? What does a day in the life of Hannah Aspden look like in the pool?
Well, something that has been a huge change in this past year that's really helped me a lot, I think, has been getting long course training every day. So I get to swim in a 50-meter pool every day, which is what we race at these big meets. So that's been really helpful, I think, getting to train in that environment. I have very supportive teammates and coaches here, and back at Queens, everyone's been very supportive of my decision to be at home and training here for now. And so I'm appreciative of all of their continued support. A day in the life, I get up early in the morning. I swim for a while. I actually only swim once a day right now, 6 days a week. And Jeff will talk about this a lot, but I'm currently not doing any weight training or anything like that. I do a little bit of dry land here and there, but no weight training, because when I first came to Queens, we got really excited and went a little crazy in the weight room, and ended up being too much, and so we had to back off of that. And Jeff will talk about that a lot, and how we kind of learn to communicate better with each other, and, you know, just figure out what works for me and my training, for what I'm trying to do. But that's kind of the day, is just swimming, and then I get to come home to my family, which is, you know, really, really nice. I've been getting to spend a lot of time with them. And my little sister's still here, and my brother lives in Texas now, but he came back for about 2 weeks. We just took him to the airport this morning.
Awesome.
But just family time has been so important in this past year, and I know there's probably a lot of people out there that can relate to that.
Well, and, you know, I think if anything, it just keeps you more grounded, and kind of, you know, not just appreciative of what you have and what you've been able to accomplish, but like you said, just keeps you more grounded and just gives you that little pick-me-up that you might need after a long day. And, you know, 6 days a week is just baffling in terms of that. But, you know, I guess it goes back to that old adage of, you know, you can never practice enough. Well, that's not necessarily true, you know, in terms of, you don't want to go crazy and get yourself in some trouble. But, you know, again, Hannah, I appreciate you taking some time out of such a busy schedule. Of course, we'll be rooting you on coming up as you swim from August the 25th to September the 3rd, coming up at the Tokyo Aquatics Center. But go out there, enjoy the rest of your training. We appreciate you taking the time, and of course, your Queens family always wishing the best of luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right, that's going to do it for another Inside the Lions Den. We, of course, appreciate Hannah for joining us, and we wish her the best of luck coming up in these Paralympic Games. And, of course, our 3 Olympians as well from Queens past and present. We wish them the best of luck. We'll keep you updated all weekend long, I should say all week long, coming up when that comes around in August, right back here on queensathletics.com. Make sure you tune back in each and every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. right back here on the YouTube page for more Inside the Lions Den. For Hannah Aspden, I'm Mike Glennon. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, go Royals.